To celebrate its 30th anniversary, Pixar has brought Toy Story back to theaters, and I figured this would be the perfect time to revisit the film that started it all. But the question remains, is Toy Story still Pixar's greatest movie ever made? Let's get started on my review of Toy Story. Let's go. What's going on, all my beautiful people? This is Jacey, and today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite Pixar films of all time, Toy Story. And I just got back from watching the 30th anniversary in theaters. Now, before I do start my review, please note this will be a spoiler-free review, just in case you have never seen this classic yet, and I hope you have though. And this is currently showing on Disney+. And as I've mentioned, it's also showing in theaters as well. Please make sure that you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on more classic Pixar films that I'm reviewing just like this. So what can I say about Toy Story? I remember watching this film in theaters. Surprisingly, I was so young when this film came out, and I remember my parents taking me and my brothers to go see this at a dollar theater. You guys, mind you, a dollar theater in the 90s, okay? So that was like a thing, and now I wish it still was a thing, but I remember watching this movie and just being blown away. I not only loved the toys, the animation, the voice actors, I just thought it was this world that opened up so much in my little brain. I thought, wow, I didn't know a movie could be filled with so much joy, so much atmosphere. I was also in my little world thinking about toys 24/7 pretty much, and just living in that type of world was just fascinating to me. So of course, over the years, I've always remembered Pixar for this monumental film. Not only did they add it to Disney parks later on as time went on, but this franchise spawned a whole different division from Disney to produce a lot of other films that came after it. And honestly, I could probably make a whole different video on so many Pixar movies that have come out each year since then. But this film is also so strong for not only its animation, but the voice acting. Toy Story stars Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Jim Varney, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, Annie Potts, and more. I mean, this franchise is also on its way to releasing its 5th film, which is the first for Pixar to have 5 films, and I'm excited to see what they come up with. I mean, part 4 was good as well. I don't feel like it's as strong as the first trilogy, but honestly, I can't complain about getting another Toy Story film pretty soon. Now, for anyone who grew up in the 90s or early 2000s, Toy Story isn't just a movie, it's a core memory. The story takes a simple idea and turns it into magic. When humans aren't looking, toys come alive and have their own lives. What a great idea. Like, this is so amazing. And surprisingly enough, I was young enough to think in my head that's not true, but I wish it was. And that would just probably blow my mind as well. But that's why I love these films so much. At the center of all of it is Woody. And as you guys can see, I went to Disneyland last year and I had to make sure I got myself a Woody the Sheriff doll. Just had to. If you pull the string, I think it says something. Go ahead and pull it. You gotta love it. And of course, when I do go back, I'm gonna get Buzz Lightyear, see if I can get a few others. But Woody's always been my favorite character in the franchise. I mean, I love Buzz too, but Woody, for some reason, also live out here in Arizona, so I'm used to the desert. Love cowboys and cowboy films. Plus, Tom Hanks is like top 5, probably one of my favorite actors, to be honest. But Woody is Andy's loyal cowboy, who suddenly feels threatened when Andy gets a shiny new Buzz Lightyear, played wonderfully by Tim Allen as well. And when he starts to get jealous quickly, it evolves into one of the greatest buddy adventures in film history. The beauty of Toy Story is how it balances humor, action, and heart. On one hand, it's a fun kids adventure about toys trying to find their way home. On the other, it's a story about friendship, identity, and learning to accept change. Buzz's heartbreaking moment of realizing he's just a toy still hits hard even decades later. Not only that, but we also have to talk briefly about the music. The music in this film complemented it so well. I mean, it created an iconic movement of a song in You Got a Friend in Me. Such moments like that, you can't really come across when it comes to cartoon or animated films to this day. It's one of those that just spawned a whole movement when it comes to music synonymously with 3D type of animation. And although this film is short at only 81 minutes, not a single second is wasted. Every scene either builds the characters, raises the stakes, or pulls you deeper into the world. And the crazy thing about it is, even as a kid, for some reason I thought this film was longer than 81 minutes. But as I got older, and even so many times as I've rewatched this film, and also 2, 3, and 4, I've always realized that the pacing is so well, it doesn't feel like it's so short. It doesn't feel like an 81-minute type of movie. It feels like a lengthy movie, but you get so many characters, so much depth within it. Now, of course, we do have to talk again about the voice acting, because I feel like that's one of the biggest reasons why this film has been so good, along with the story. But the voice cast is flawless. Tom Hanks gives Woody warmth, charm, and just the right amount of insecurity. Tim Allen's Buzz is hilarious yet sincere. I remember watching this too and thinking, wow, I remember him from Home Improvement. That's that guy. He's pretty funny. He's the dad on there. And then watching this and thinking, wow, he did an amazing job. I forgot that he voice acted Buzz. But he plays the character perfectly, capturing a toy who truly believes he's a space ranger. Also, I loved how after this film, not only did we get 3 other films to follow, but we also got a cartoon in Buzz Lightyear and Star Command. I love that cartoon. Every time I woke up and got ready for school, there was a couple other cartoons, but every time I stayed home from school, I used to love sitting on the couch and watching Buzz Lightyear Star Command, because I thought, oh wow, like I'm finally able to finish an episode because I stayed home. But even the side characters shine in this film. Don Rickles as Mr. Potato Head is brilliant. Jim Varney as Slinky Dog is also great. And John Ratzenberger as Ham, along with Annie Potts as Bo Peep, all add personality and comedy to the story. Their chemistry makes the toy box feel alive, like these characters have always been friends or rivals. The performances are timeless, and that's why these characters remain so iconic. The character work is still being studied to this day. You really fall in love with these characters, and you start to think that they're real and not just toys. Now, we do have to talk about the animation, because, I mean, let's be honest, it was amazing at that time, and even as a kid, I thought, oh my god, this is so astonishing. I've never seen anything like this. But obviously, over the years, animation has gotten better. And looking back, the visuals may not be as polished as Pixar's newer films, but in 1995, this was revolutionary. Toy Story was the first feature-length movie entirely created with computer animation, and it still holds up because of how well it uses detail, perspective, and creativity. From Andy's bedroom to Sid's Nightmare Toy Workshop, every setting feels alive and full of imagination. I also remember at one point as a kid, because I wanted everything that was involved with Toy Story, not just the merch, which I don't remember what happened to a lot of that stuff as a kid, but I do remember having a computer game as well. And if you guys remember that, let me know in the comments, because I had a computer game, and at one point you were in Sid's Nightmare Toy Workshop and you were trying to save the toys. It was like really cool. But the animation team made every object come alive. You had an Etch-a-Sketch, toy soldiers, even a simple ball felt bigger than life. And we got to talk also about some of the action sequences, which got better as the films went on, but you had scenes like Buzz's first flight around Andy's room, and it still feels thrilling and groundbreaking as you watch it, because you're thinking, wow, I love how they did that even in the film and how they configured that scene. Now, of course, going back to the question that I asked you guys in the beginning, is Toy Story the greatest Pixar film ever made? I honestly think so, and I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you guys in my comments are like, come on, that's a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people that feel like The Incredibles is a better Pixar film, or even some others that came after it. And personally, I will say this, after part 2 of Toy Story came out, I felt like that was a better film, and as I got older, I realized, nah, that you can't really have part 2 without part 1, and also part 1 set a lot of the foundation and grounding for part 2 to work. But here's why I feel like Toy Story is the best Pixar film of all time. Because it did more than start a franchise, it changed animation forever. Without Toy Story, there would be no Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, or Inside Out. It proved that animated films could be technologically daring, emotionally deep, and universally appealing. The crazy thing about it is, even as a kid, when we went to go see this in theaters, it was not one of those movies that my parents took me to go see and they fall asleep or they're just not really interested. All of us, and I mean all of us, including my parents, loved this film and drove home astonished and just in awe of what we just saw. Kids connect to the adventure and humor of this film, while adults see themselves in the deeper themes of growing up, letting go, and finding where you belong. And that's one thing that's so strong even about a lot of these films, because let's be honest, as formulaic as a lot of the Pixar films have become, you still have the heart in each one of those films, and that's why it's so relatable to kids and adults. Now, nearly 30 years later, the jokes still land, the emotions still hit, and the imagination still inspires. It's not just a great kids movie, it's one of the greatest films ever made, period. And I will go on record to say that. Anybody who wants to look back at this later on, yes, one of the greatest films ever made, for sure. Now, with all that being said, I'm gonna give Toy Story, come on, this is a no-brainer, guys, 5 flames out of 5 and a Jacey Flames approved rating.
Oh my God! Wow!
Without a doubt, this is Pixar's best film of all time. It has stood the test of time and will for years to come. Toy Story is a masterpiece and one of the greatest animated films of all time. Pixar has created many classics, but none of them would exist without this one in particular. And I really enjoyed watching this again in theaters, and I suggest that you guys go and check it out again because it's awesome seeing it again on the big screen. Just like I did when I was a kid, I'm not gonna lie, as the film started to play, felt like I wanted to cry because it reminded me of that first time when I went to go see it with my parents as a kid. But it's not just nostalgia. This movie is just amazing. It's flawless. It's a masterpiece, and there's so many details and things that you sometimes miss when you're watching it at home. I mean, I know a lot of us have some really large, big TV screens now, but still in that theater setting, it's just really unmatched. But all right, guys, so what was your fondest memory of watching this film for the first time? Where were you, and what did you think of it overall? Do you agree with me as well that this is Pixar's best film? I will not judge you if you guys think it's another film like Finding Nemo, The Incredibles, what have you. Maybe you're a lot younger, so another Pixar film means more to you than this one. But let me know in the comments below. Last thing before I do go, you guys, please make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell to stay up to date. My name's Jacey, and until next time, I'm out.